let's talk about what kind of things you should plan for before you start writing your book.
This video is brought to you by EpiPies Academy.
So this is the phase of, let's say you got a great idea for a book. What kind of things should you think about? What should you keep in mind? And knowing what we now know about how book sales are made, let's plan. And the first things that you plan is, how will you promote the book? Because as a self-published author, you might love to write, you might love the idea of having a book, but a book that doesn't sell does not position you as a thought leader, doesn't position you as an influencer, actually can be a little detrimental. Your potential buyers, your audience can easily see on Amazon if your book is not selling, if your Amazon sales rank is low, and that's public information. So how will you promote the book is a very important thing to think through. So very early, it's important to start thinking about keyword research and your title, because your title is going to contain some keywords in many cases, and also your subtitle. So books have a title and a subtitle. Those have keywords that can be important to rank for. And when I talk about keywords, I'm going to talk about them more in the course. But if you're new to the world of keywords and search, keywords are things that people will search and might discover your book. For example, if you have a cookbook, well, they're going to search for the word cookbook. Or if you have a book about health, they're going to talk about health. The problem is, of course, that you have to dig a little deeper into these subject areas, because obviously there's millions of books about health, or hundreds of thousands, or who knows how many. So you have to find more insightful, more specific keywords. And in addition to that, you have to think about the niche and the book category in which your book will live in, because again, if you just create a general cookbook, or if you create a general business book, anything general, well, you're going to compete against many other books, but also some of the top superstars in that niche. For example, if you write a business book, well, you're going to compete with people like Gary Vaynerchuk and Mark Cuban and many other incredibly successful entrepreneurs. So if your book is a general book, it will be very hard to compete. So you have to have a book that's specific on some subtopic within a category. And that's very important to think through in the beginning, early, before you actually start to write the book and invest time and money into it. Another thing you really want to pre-plan is, how will your book be the best book in the category? One issue is the writing, but another issue is you have to be aware of, once you've picked a category, what are the incumbent leading books in that category? And you don't have to read all of them, but you should be familiar with the space you're entering. And what you really need to also pre-plan is the competition level for your niche or sub-niche on Amazon, and how does that compare to your marketing ability and resources? Because what you can put in is time, skills, and money. And does the sum of the time, skills, and money that you have, is that going to be enough to realistically compete in your category? And these are the things to really plan ahead, because if you don't plan them, I often get clients who don't plan these things, and because it's hard enough to actually write a book, so these kinds of things sometimes get ignored. But as soon as you launch the book, they come back right away, because if it's hard to promote the book, if it's hard to sell, these are usually the reasons why. Not ranking in Amazon, people are not finding it, all these kinds, it's not the best book in the category. All these types of issues are the most common issues why books fail and don't sell. So if you start thinking about these things early, it will save you a lot of headaches, and it will increase the chances of your book's success tremendously.